there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm going to give you a reaction and review to the full version of Time Warp by Perfume. As usual, this is the review video. If you want to see the reaction that I've just recorded, then pause this video, click the little link in the description below, and it'll open up a separate little YouTube player where you can see me reacting, just in case you want to hear the song, if you haven't heard the song, or if you just want to see how I reacted when I first heard the song in full. And that is one big point I want to add to this. I am aware that just a couple of days ago I put out a reaction to the short version of this. My apologies. I don't like to be one of those people who just tries to milk something for views by reviewing the same thing lots of different ways. So I thought I'd get on this and do the reaction to the full version as quickly as possible when it just came out. So that, so it didn't look like I was trying to milk it. I'm directly superseding my previous video. Anyway, so like I said, I'm about to give you the review. If you haven't seen the reaction, watch it now. Otherwise, don't say I didn't warn you. Okay. So, Time Warp by Perfume. Now, when I first heard this, like I say, the short version, which I heard a few days ago, I liked the fact it added some little guitar elements in there. I'm the sort of person who I don't need a guitar in music to enjoy it. I'm not like a rock purist. I just a music purist, to be honest. I just like music, well-written music especially. I've never been hugely pushing for that. And certainly with Nakata Yositaka, he's a producer who a lot of people, don't like. A lot of more rock-leaning people don't like the fact that he uses a very sort of programmed sound, and to them I can see I've read comments on our Discord and thing where we've been discussing this a lot before, that some people feel it's kind of a little bit cold, that there's no sort of warmth of musicianship to it. Now, like I say, the guitar work in this song, it could well be programmed. It could well just be a synthesized guitar emulator, totally possible. You don't know. However, it just gives it a sort of warmth of feeling like there's some musicianship going on in there as well, which I think does actually add a certain element to it. I've never been particularly critical of the lack of recorded musicians in Nakata Yositaka's productions before. I'm getting used to saying his name faster now. I've never been hugely against that, but I can't deny it is nice to hear those sort of warmer guitar elements or warmer sort of live music sounding elements to it. I like the fact the guitar was also not just one steady sound, it was also part of the production. Like when it was down in the lower areas, there was a sort of thicker sound to it. When it was higher up, it had a little bit more of a sort of tweety, like a high-end melodic sound to it as well. The distortion was, sort of nicely balanced and used in a way that complemented the song. So the guitar was fitting in perfectly. It didn't feel forced. It really felt like it was complementing and accenting various parts of it. And one of the big things that I would point out, and this is where the guitar got involved, was that little riff that was going throughout most of the song, that da-da-da-da-da-da. I didn't do that perfectly well, but you know what I mean. As always, my vocal representations of music are just perfect. I like the fact that that bounced between several instruments. It wasn't just one instrument playing the riff over and over again. It was like guitar, and then it was like a synth, and then it was another synth, and then it was a different guitar production sound. Like the guitar did it a couple of different ways. I think it skipped octaves at point as well. It was nice and interesting that the sounds were being swapped in and out for doing the little riff. So it kept everything feeling fresh. And that is one of the examples of, like I say, what I think is so good about his style of production, is because of the fact that he works from a certain palette that he's very good with, and the sounds he uses, he does avail himself of a lot of different sounds. He puts little things in that come and go from the songs. There's always a little bit of something interesting for you to get your ears into. It's never just simply a case of let's set the song on a core route and just let it go. There's always a feeling that he's playing with little things and adding little things all the time, but they're always very subtle. And so I really enjoyed that element of it. I felt, as always, it had his attention to detail in there. So the production was really good, and it most importantly was a good catchy beat, in that it matched the interesting playfulness of the sound and inventiveness of the sound with a good solid dancey beat, which you need if you want to have a good solid single. I was saying before when I talked about the short version that I know a lot of the time he's always sort of playing this balancing act between kind of doing something that we've heard from him before, and so to a lot of people, again, another criticism I often hear of his work is it sounds like he's just kind of repeating the same sound over and over again. I often level that by saying that's kind of no more relevant than saying that every rock band is just repeating their sound by having two guitars, bass and drums in every song they do. Working from the same sound palette is that can't be criticised. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's always great if you do expand on your palette. That's a fantastic thing. But working from the same sound palette and making that your sound is not something to be criticised. However, I can understand why to a lot of people it felt like he was reworking his songs. So he's always in a balancing act between doing that and then trying to do things which are fresh and original, which I sometimes feel like when he goes into different sounds, it doesn't really work for him. Sometimes it does. I pointed out before, Edge Triangle Remix is a fantastic example. That was just brilliant. I believe he produced that as well. This was an example of him doing something which was kind of within his sound, within, you knew who it was the minute you were listening to it, but he was slowly expanding on it. It felt like he was making some gentle expansions upon what we've heard in his previous work with Perfume, Carrie Pammy Pammy, various other artists. So I felt there was a bit of ambition to this, but a careful, cautious, directed bit of ambition that just sort of pushed the song in a nice, interesting direction whilst also being identifiably one of his works. As for the actual song itself, no completely recognisable chorus, but it kind of had a refrain. It worked well. It wasn't one of those breakdown ones where, you sort of get the build up, breakdown, and it's disappointing. Interesting, I felt that way about Future Pop as well. There was one other one, I can't even remember the name of it anymore. I kind of erased it from my memory. Future Pop was one where I found the chorus really disappointing on that. This, again, maybe they could have written more of a chorus, but, it sort of built up, and then you got that refrain, and it was nice. And I like the way, especially with the first pre-chorus, the way it sort of builds up from, everything breaks down, it really builds up to it, and it feels like a good payoff when it comes round. I think that's the big thing, is if you have a build-up in your pre-chorus, whatever follows, whether it be an instrumental refrain, a loop, a chorus, whatever, just so long as it feels like an actual payoff, that's what you want. And in this it did, which is what, like I say, I don't think Future Pop managed to achieve. Future Pop, the chorus to that actually kind of got irritating to me. I found it kind of annoying by the end of the first listen. This felt like it was just really good. It had a good feeling to the song as well. I really felt that it was fun, playful, just, like I say, a good vibe, a good atmosphere to the whole thing. The video was cool as well, nice, simple, just, again, kind of similar to the production. It was so identifiably, you knew who it was virtually from the first frame and the whole way it was set up, but it was just different enough to feel fresh. And so, like I said, I think that's the whole tone of everything about this piece, about Time Warp, is I think that it is them in safe territory, but doing enough to make this song identifiably a new song with a nice new little twist here and there. I enjoyed this. This is one of the best songs I've heard from Perfume in a while, in my opinion. Is in one of the ones that I think will stand up most to replay value. Just kind of, and the whole feel, the whole tone, it just felt kind of enjoyable. It felt like it wanted you to have a good time. So I liked this. I am glad I've listened to this to supersede my previous video, because I do think that they added something more, and certainly in the context of hearing the song all the way through, this just felt like a nice complete work. So I'm glad to have heard it all the way through. So a big thank you to you guys for watching this again, especially if you watched the first one. Thank you for coming back and watching this one again with me. A big thank you to anyone who gets in the comments and tells me your opinions as well, because as we always say, music is about the subjective opinion. It's not all objective. In fact, most of it isn't objective at all. There's a science behind it, but what you think when you hear the music is the most important thing. So get in there, justify your opinions, tell me what you think. Feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to talk to more people about Japanese music, then get on one of our social medias as linked in the description below. And of course, primarily on top of all of that, a big thank you both to our Patreons for keeping the channel alive. Seriously. You wouldn't believe the amount of stuff I have here that keeps the channel alive that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for you Patreon guys. Big thank you. And of course, thank you to yourself for making it through to the end of the video. So until I see you hopefully very soon in Japan for the next one of these, for now, ciao ciao.